last time I made a video about my life in Canada, it was the first or second day that I was here and I did not know what I was doing, and so this is just gonna be like an update video. It's going a lot better than how it was in the beginning. So for starters, I have a bank account now for Canada. I have my student card. I've been going to the gym. I have my classes. I'm kind of organized. Big thing that happened. So I actually did end up getting a job at a Tim Hortons in Canada. If you don't know what Tim Hortons is, it's just a place where you can buy coffee and donuts, kind of like the Canadian version of Dunkin' Donuts. And honestly, it's really cool. It's taking me a little time to get used to it, and I have a job now, which gives me kind of like a purpose and something to do with all of the extra hours that I'm not in class. So I have a couple friends now. They are international exchange students from Japan, and they're really cool. Megumi and Erica, they're really nice. I did film a video where I basically just walked around Montreal as much as I could and filmed all the cool things I saw and just like the buildings and how the city's laid out. I'll put the link to that in the description, and I also filmed a video of what I do in a day. So I'll link that also down below, and that just kind of explains like the mundane things I do, like eat way too much yogurt and go to the gym and go to class. And that's basically all I do. Story time real quick. So it's about one of the first days I was working at Tim Hortons. I've never worked in the food industry at all. I've basically only been a lifeguard or a pool manager. This is my first job that's not in that field, and I didn't do any of the online training yet. This was like my second day. I should have done the online training before I did anything. The past Sunday I was in charge of the tomatoes. I've never eaten a tomato. I've never cut them, sliced them. I don't know what you do with them. I don't know what constitutes a good tomato slice and a bad tomato slice. So that was problem number one with this. And I did fine with, I selected the tomatoes that looked rotten and what didn't. I washed them, and then I used a, I don't even know what you call it, but I picked out the core. I still, honestly, I'm very confused about tomatoes, but I did what she told me and picked out a little bit of the core part and put them all in a bucket, and after that I was in charge of slicing it, and that is where everything went extremely downhill. So basically what I had to do was use this like industrial slicer. All I had to do was put the tomato topside down and then just hold it and slide it, and it will just slice it. Then my supervisor told me, so you're gonna throw away the bad parts, which are on the two ends. And I was like, okay, makes sense. So she took off, the top and the end, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she was like, if it looks bad, like this part's bad, just throw it away. I was like, yeah, okay, I got it. So start slicing these tomatoes, and then honestly, to me, the whole tomato looks bad because I've never had one, and I would look, and obviously like the butt and ends of the tomato I would throw away, but then if there was any kind of like circle, or if it looked too white to me or too red, I would just trash those too because they didn't look as nice to me, and she said to throw away the bad parts, so threw those away. Basically, by the end of me picking apart the bad slices of the tomato, only about 5 or 6 slices were left. So my supervisor walks by probably 15 minutes after. I've already done half the tomatoes. I've thrown away the bad parts into the trash, and she's watching me do a couple, and she's asking what my trash pile is, and I was like, oh, that's the bad parts, like you told me. She said in like a very stern voice, Erin, there's only 2 pieces that are the bad parts. They're the very ends of each tomato. And at this point, I just kind of stepped back and looked at her. I was like,
please, 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 please don't fire me. Please.
By the time I was done, you know, the tomato slices, usually with the amount that I had, a worker could fill up about 10 tubs of tomato slices. And I filled up about 6. So that's how many tomatoes I wasted. Long story short, I will not be put on tomato duty for a very long time. Montreal is an amazing city, but there are a couple things that I hate about this city to the point where it makes me uncomfortable. So number 1 is the homeless population and the problem with that. The United States, there are homeless people around, and you know, like the police kind of keep that under control and bring them to somewhere that can help them. But here, they are everywhere, like every street corner, and that's fine. Like I understand that, you know, like you need to do something to survive, but I do not understand how that they get away with being so aggressive. They'll follow you, they'll call after you, they'll say mean things if you try to keep your head down and ignore them. They will lunge at you. It's ridiculous. I'll have my headphones in and I just try to walk 2 streets to go to the gym, and I see and almost run into maybe 6 or 7 homeless people, and they harass just pedestrians and anyone walking for money, for food, for booze, for anything. They yell and they scream and they make such a spectacle. And for me, I am so uncomfortable by it. If it's past 9 p.m., I will not leave my room. I will not go outside. It's just not worth it to me because I honestly feel unsafe walking in Montreal because of that population. And honestly, I never see police. I never see police patrolling. I never see them just walking around or stopping conflicts. People literally scream in the street. And that to me is probably the number 1 reason why I don't like living here, just because if I can't feel comfortable or safe where I'm living, what's the point, honestly? But in terms of school and classes and activities to do with the school, I am very happy with that. I'm very happy with my job at Tim Hortons and the friends I've made, but I do not feel safe walking in the streets alone at all. And I feel like that is a really big problem here. Yeah, but that's basically all I have to say, and see you next time. Bye.